New Super Mario Bros. 4th World may look peaceful due to its forest theme, but make no mistake, it is out to kill you with its lava that one-shots you, pits that one-shot you, and poison river that, hold that thought, 4-1 throws you directly into the jungle, complete with a river of poison that one-shots you! If it wasn't clear already, this world doesn't pull any punches, and is completely content with ramping up the difficulty compared to earlier worlds, so it should be interesting to see how this game handles its first case of consistent difficulty. Up ahead, you'll find a ton of scuttlebugs having a good old jamboree. These guys drop from the top of the level, slowly moving up and down to try and prevent you from progressing. Defeating them is as easy as a simple jump off the top. What makes them annoying is how they suddenly appear when you're about to make a jump, but so long as you're patient, you shouldn't have any problems. The first star coin requires you to jump off one of these scuttlebugs so you can see how useful it can be to squish them. Alternatively, you could also throw the Koopa shell into the star coin. The checkpoint introduces you to Dory, a friendly creature who will help you traverse the poisonous river. As you float along, you'll have to avoid many a scuttlebug so that you don't succumb to a terrible fate. The second star coin can be reached by, yet again, jumping off one of the bugs for extra height. If you ground pound Dory, then his head will lower, granting you more space to move at a lower elevation. Otherwise, he'll continue to have his head up so that you can reach higher places as you swim along, which is quite necessary when you reach these blocks, since if you stand on them and jump in between them where these suspicious coins are, you'll activate a vine that will lead you to a pipe, eventually resulting in a secret exit. This is one of my favorite secret exits in the game. Why? It's not because of how you reach it. I mean, sure, it's a cleverly hidden block, but it ain't too special. It's not because of what it skips. I mean, it's only a couple levels. It's because when Mario takes the route between 4-1 and the 1-up house, you can see him moonwalking. That's right, the devs didn't program this path properly, causing our plumber friend here to moonwalk on it as he goes along. These are the bits of trivia I live for. On the main route, you'll exit Dory and face the scuttlebugs in a new way via the falling platforms. Yes, by the way, I know they're called donut blocks, but it feels more natural to call them by what they do when it comes to level analysis. These things can be a bit more annoying than first given credit for, considering the scuttlebugs climb up and down, making you wait for an opening. But if you hop a little on the falling platforms you're on, then you shouldn't suffer any consequences. This mindset is especially important when shooting for the third star coin, that's dangerously close to the poison. Just don't panic, mind your jumps, and you'll be on your way to 4-2. Yet another mushroom level that I adore. I don't know what it is with these levels that make me so happy. Maybe it's the fact that these levels tend to be so colorful, and that color will help you out here, since you're introduced to the purple mushrooms, which will tilt depending on where you're standing on them. This first one shows off the mechanic perfectly by giving you a trail of coins to shoot for as you make a comfortable slide down. It's when you press onward that you start to realize how dangerous eating all that spaghetti was last night, cause man, these guys can tilt far. Balancing yourself is a must so that you don't fall into the abyss. This 1-up mushroom really tests how much you've learned up until this point, but honestly, shooting for this lad will probably result in your demise. This first star coin, on the other hand, should be fine for you to nab as long as you're not awful at wall jumping. The second one though? Oh man, let's hope you're good at timing your jump, or else you've got a one-way ticket to Game Over Central. If you thought these challenges weren't enough already, then get ready for the Red Ring of Doom. 8 red coins that require you to carefully navigate tilting mushrooms, all for a power-up, when the real power-up was the flex you earned along the way. When arriving at this block, don't ground pound it. If you do, then prepare to be underwhelmed, to say the least. What you've got to do is travel below and hit it from below so that the vine pops out upward, where you can climb to the sky sub-area and proceed to climb higher up the beanstalk to grab the third star coin before returning back to the surface. The final section has a bunch of tilting mushrooms, but considering they're all quite wide, they aren't as mean as you might have first assumed. The flagpole awaits you, and so does 4-3, an underwater auto-scrolling section. Man, I thought we were done with these after World 3 showed that they weren't necessary, but I guess old habits die hard. The scariest part about this level is, as you can imagine, the enormous eels that swim your way. If you thought the Mega Cheep Cheeps were scary, then these guys must be downright terrifying to you. The coin trails tell you how to avoid them, the star coin urges you to swim back for it, and the red coins have you avoiding multiple smaller eels for a reward. While I can't say I'm especially fond of the auto-scrolling, at least this level level does a great job at keeping you busy with tons of things to do and avoid, and that's most true when it comes to this second star coin, where you've got to wait out the big boy eel before braving the smaller ones. Hitting the question mark switch will switch off the blowing warp pipes, and when you carefully test each one, you'll eventually enter the sub-area containing the third star coin, which is no big deal as you return to the eel-filled abyss, which is a big deal. Whereas the beginning of the level kindly showed you how to avoid each monstrosity using coin trails, this final section just poofs out some bubble coins as if they're supposed to do anything for you. The last challenge consists of 2 columns of smaller eels chomping at you, and when you carefully swim up through this nightmare, you can return to the surface, completely done with one of my admittedly more light auto-scrolling water levels because of how absurdly spooky it is. But if you thought that was bad, wait till we enter 4 Tower, where it's not too apparent at first what the gimmick is. Your best guess is lava, but all it does is sit there at the bottom of the tower. And since tower levels are completely vertical, then that makes you wonder how in the world this lava is threatening at all after a few jumps up. Upon entering the next room, it becomes deathly apparent how the lava is threatening. It rises with you. That's right, if you fall, then that spells you a fate of the burning alive kind. You'll see that this gimmick was combined with the fences first seen in 3 Tower. The way the devs combined these mechanics is actually pretty funny. For example, you'll notice a few coins in the backside of a fence here, making you flip yourself to collect them. But what about these coins on the other side? To collect them, you've either got to backtrack to flip yourself again, or climb higher up, flip, and backtrack to collect them. Either way, you're climbing down to grab them, which of course brings you closer to the lava that's rising up towards you. Pay close attention to these coin placements, because the devs really like luring you closer to the lava with them. After you climb higher, you'll find some coins that are sprawled out to the left, a detour that's just meant to waste your time. The first star coin is on the backside of a fence, and if you're not on the same plane as it, then you've got to hurry to this flip panel and rush back in time to collect it. Regardless if you get to this next section from the left or right area, you'll have to quickly leap through the crushing concrete and obtain the second star coin, which is chilling with some zappy ampies. These guys don't seem like they're out to hurt you in this level, they're just kind of vibing. With your bravery intact, you'll reach the checkpoint where you've got to try and not lose your head as you climb these fences while avoiding all the concrete smacking left and right. If you properly navigate it, then you'll discover the last star coin, which is placed in a pretty mean spot, only if you're tall though, because this hole is small, meaning you've got to squeeze through, but if that lava's getting close, then you might not have the time to do so. If you're smaller, then this section can be cleared with ease. Short Kings, you take a W on this one. The Red Ring challenge looks fairly straightforward in execution, and it is, but the difficulty comes from any screw-ups, where not grabbing onto a fence will result in falling far enough to burn to a crisp. But should you pass this challenge, you'll arrive at the boss door. Don't take too long of a breather though, that lava does not care where you are and will continue to rise up until this whole section of the tower is filled up. So get in that boss room and face Bowser Jr. once more. His behavior is finally different this time around. Every time you try to jump on his head, he'll immediately retreat into his shell, refusing to get stomped on. This leaves your only course of action being a power-up you have, or using his newfound power against him, the shells. A simple 3 throws will cleanly end the battle, and considering he doesn't jump here, you should have no trouble getting rid of him. If you didn't notice, he wears his mask in this battle, which is meant to indicate that his behavior will be different. 4A is gatekept by a 5-star coin purchase, but as long as you're not poor, you're free to pass. This place is arguably the most scary of the Poison River levels, considering you need to have a good handle on the swinging mechanic, which you were taught in 2 Castle and 3 Castle, and the paddle wheel, which looks similar to the ones found in 3A, but function differently due to them moving based on where you stand. Doesn't that sound familiar? The first one's an introduction, with the second one having you paddle along longer while also dealing with a paratroopa, an enemy that is a lot more dangerous now more than ever, considering you're quite limited in your movement with this paddle wheel. Even if you manage to get the Koopa to drop, it'll likely end up landing on the wheel with you, ready to ride like you are until you finally dispose of him, or just leave him for dead. Things don't get much better on this front when you encounter the same scenario again and again soon after. You're forced to carefully navigate your tight space as you bob and weave these flying menaces. And what's worse is that you've got to grab that first star coin. But hey, when you continue on, you may notice this vine peeking out at the top of the camera. If you manage to reach it by jumping off a Koopa, then you can leap to this pipe, which presents you with the second star coin, guarded by a bunch of Koopas who are no big deal after having hit the P-switch. Popping out of the pipe will have let you skip a daring section, where you've got to swing from vine to vine, timing your jump so that the paratroopers don't screw with you. But if you're really stylish, then you could jump off of them between vines, just don't fall into the poison river below. This final section contains a rare sight: 3 warp pipes that all lead to the same sub-area. Normally a sub-area only has 1 entrance, but here, 3. Kinda crazy when you think about it. After grabbing the 3rd coin of stars, you can vine your way up to the top of the flagpole. 4-4 is Wiggler Town, where these happy folks love nothing more but walking about with glee. If you happen to step on one though, all that joy is killed, you killjoy. They'll become enraged and speed up their movements, making it more likely that you'll end up getting ran over. If you ground pound a Wiggler before enraging it, then you'll flip it over, stunning it temporarily. Unfortunately, you can't beat them by jumps or ground pounds. They're impervious to most means of attack, but that's actually a good thing in this case, since you can use them as bounce pads to reach higher areas, such as here with a red ring challenge. It's only in tighter spaces, such as this one with the first star coin, that these guys become a nuisance. You can't take advantage of their bounciness much, and their speed can be overwhelming, so be careful here. But wait, aren't there a lot of Koopa Troopers around? Coincidence? No, they are the predators of the Wigglers. With one shell toss, you can rid yourself of all your Wiggler problems no time flat. They are the exterminators of this level. Considering that you're going to be jumping all about when facing this Wiggler, I don't really see a point in these falling platforms being here. Not sure what the devs were thinking. This block will pop out a vine for you to climb up, and if you go left, then you'll discover a wide open area with the star coin too high for you to reach. Which begs the question, what if that vine you climbed earlier means there's another one? And there is, letting you grab the star coin with ease. This block contains a coin, but if you get a superstar from this ever-changing item block from earlier and then hit this block, it won't contain a coin but another superstar, allowing you to go on a spree of destroying wildlife left and right, Goombas, Koopas, and Wigglers alike. If you didn't get a superstar, then you could throw a Koopa shell down these slopes for a similar level of destruction. And upon closer inspection, this section has a star coin down low, where you've got to carefully wall jump to nab it. These mini warp pipes call out for you to test them all, but since you just got the 3rd star coin, you know that there's no more collectibles to be found in this level. The only noteworthy thing a mini sub area could offer you is a secret exit, which admittedly is worth checking out, but where are you going to find the mini mushroom to enter one of these pipes? The changing item block doesn't contain one, so you're going to have to bring one along and enter the pipe that way, where you won't find a secret exit, but a mega mushroom meant to obliterate the underground infrastructure of the Mushroom Kingdom. Heck yeah! After a spectacle like that, you can freely grab a hold of the flagpole and enter for Ghost House. This place starts out like your usual haunted house with some spooky scenery and not so pleasant spirits hanging about. The first door leads to a room that contains 4 blocks which fall from the ceiling. Hitting each one doesn't seem to do much, only granting a single coin each. Strange. Ahead of the door, you'll find a striped platform that'll whirl you around to the other side of the wall. This room's ceiling is full of blocks. Hidden blocks included. If you're not big, then you can't break these blocks and take this path, which is where you need to go for the first star coin. But there is another way to access this route though. If in this earlier room you decide to hop on top of one of these blocks, then when the timer is up, they'll retreat back into the ceiling and bring you to this higher route so you can grab the star coin. Very odd but appreciated alternate method. If you're on the main route, then you'll meet one of my favorite Mario enemies in the franchise, the Balloon Boo. Look at this guy, he's so cute. When you're facing towards him, he'll suck in air in spurts, making a funny noise when he does so. And when you're facing away from him, he'll poof out the air to blast himself towards you. It's just too good. What's depressing though, is that these Balloon Boos have only appeared in this game, where they can only be found in this level, making them an incredibly endangered species with only 5 left in existence. Thankfully, they're impervious to most means of attack, except those of the Mega variety, where they fly off in a wacky motion. Make that 4 left in existence. Don't do what I did, I love these guys so much. The next room's Balloon Boo is in a scarier position, since there's less terrain for you to navigate around it with, meaning you've got to let it get closer to you so that it's small enough to jump over. This is where you can P-switch it up to enter the warp pipe to the room above, which is also where you would end up after grabbing the first star coin. Even higher up, you've got to hit this red switch to make blocks appear so that the door can be walked through, where you'll immediately see that you've got to do the same for the pipe above you. Exploring to the left will reveal the red switch you need to press, but on the way there you'll see 2 walls of spawnable red blocks. Taking them after hitting the switch will lead you to the second star coin, where you can then take that pipe from earlier up to the final Balloon Boo in the level. Give it a hearty farewell as we take this door to the previous room. Stupid boos think they're some sort of comedians. Now we can take this door and wait, there's the 3rd star coin. And not only that, there's another door right here. Does that mean that this door we're currently at will lead us there? Nope. This is the path to the exit, so what gives? How do we get to this place? Well, from what it looks like, you've got to jump way up high to reach this ledge, where you can then climb to our secret little spot right here. You know what that means. Bring a mini mushroom here to accomplish the goal. Yet another instance of these ghost houses messing with us. At least you're rewarded with a secret exit though, one that leads to a cannon which can launch you over to World 7. I'll gladly take that after being forced to grab a mini mushroom for this stupid haunted house. Can't be too mad though, considering it's the home of the Balloon Boos. Goodbye, my friends. 4-5 is an underground level where you're introduced to your friends with short fuses, the Bob-ombs. Since the devs wanted to show you their explosive nature, they placed this first one directly above some blocks, so when you hit it, you'll see from a safe distance the damage it causes when it explodes. You can then use this newfound knowledge to use the Bob-ombs popping out of this pipe to blow up these other blocks so that you can proceed further in the level. This enclosed place has 2 Bob-ombs instead of just the one from before, which shows you that one Bob-omb exploding means it'll trigger the second one to explode as well. If you make your way to the top of these blocks, you can eat up a 1-up mushroom for your bravery. Past the checkpoint, you'll notice purple colored blocks, and when you blow up a bomb next to them, you'll realize that they're impervious to explosions, which is great to know as you aim for the first star coin, where you need to carefully place the bomb next to the wall of breakable blocks to obtain it. Getting the second star coin is more of a challenge. You might think you just need to break the blocks above you by jumping with a drawbridge below brings you higher, but nope, all of these blocks cannot be broken by your noggin. You've gotta break them using a bomb, and would you looky there, a bomb's walking right above you. This means you have a limited amount of attempts to try and hit a block that's below the bomb so that it can open up the way to the star coin, testing how well you've gotten at controlling these brats. The spinies on the ceiling are eager to drop down onto you, taking advantage of the slopes to make avoiding them more difficult. You could continue onward by quickly platforming the drawbridges, but the 3rd star coin is yet to be found, and that pipe is a great candidate. Grab a bomb and carefully drop it onto the breakable blocks so that you can access the final bomb challenge of the level. You've got a limit of 5 bombs to try and break your way into the hole the star coin's in. Unless you're absolutely atrocious at handling explosives, this should be a reasonable challenge before you get back up to the overworld, where the staircase, funny enough, isn't made of bricks like it normally is, but unbreakable blocks, which are bomb proof. I love it. 4-6 is the last Poison River level of the world, but don't be sad, you've got Dory to spend it with. You've learned how he works back in 4-1, but here you'll be together the whole way through. For the Red Ring Challenge and Star Coin, you've got to quickly nab what you want and make it back onto his back and squeeze through the same tight space he is. You can choose to do the same with the next piece of terrain, either jump onto it for goodies or squeeze through the hole with your companion. You'll notice that you were given both options each time you encountered a piece of terrain, making this opening section of the level feel more open and less linear. As soon as you've gotten used to doing this though, you're immediately separated from Dory, forced to brave the piranha plants and get back to him before he leaves without knowing you left. The second star coin can be obtained by breaking these blocks and jumping up, but you're better off hitting this P-switch beforehand to make it easier. This piranha plant section is around the time where you'll want to ground pound Dory so that he'll lower his head, giving you more space down low to avoid the plant's jaws as well as the paratroopas. But let's hope Dory raises his head in time for you to hit this red switch so that you can enter this pipe, which contains some foes and the 3rd star coin. Regardless if you took this route or not, you'll have to bid farewell to Dory, for this will be his last appearance in the game and from the entire Mario series until over a decade later when Super Mario Odyssey comes out. That's crazy. But enough about that, let's get to 4 Castle, home to the swinging platforms. Your first one is but a simple introduction to its swinging nature, whereas the second and third ones introduce dry bones to swing with you. You certainly had your fair share of dealing with enemies on moving platforms back in 3-1, so this should feel somewhat familiar. The first star coin is high up, meaning you've got to run and leap off the swinging platforms when it's at its highest. Soon after, you'll meet who really owns this place, the Thwomps. In beautiful level design 101 fashion, the first one is easy to pass, the second one is harder because it's 1 block lower, and the third one is hardest because you've now got to leap over a block to pass one. I hope you're ready for these guys, by the way, because they do not let up. The next one can be found in this right corridor, where you've got to jump left to right to left again as it rises up to try and slam down at you. Alternatively, you could avoid this layout by following the coins, which is, you know, fine I guess, but then you miss out on this cool part and that would make me sad. What would this place be without a huge thwomp to rule them all? You'll notice that the blocks below it are the same ones you saw back in 4-5, which the bombs could blow up. I guess this Hulkin Chad doesn't need explosives to do the same job. He can just slam down and knock out multiple at once, which is good for you since he doing so grants you access to the second star coin. Just get out of there before he makes your face his next target. You'd think that descending this place would be easier, but nope, it's harder because now you've got to awkwardly jump over a thwomp after you trigger it to fall. Not the big boy though, you gotta respect his authority and leap over him once he's gotten his fill. That is, if you didn't get this hidden block superstar from earlier, which grants you the power to topple this thwomp oligarchy like the deck of cards it is. This checkpoint prepares you for the final section, where you can obtain a 1-up mushroom by carefully landing on the first swinging platform. If you then wait for it to swing entirely one way, you can drop down to the third and final star coin of the world. Frankly, the rest of this room isn't all that more challenging. It contains a lot of Podoboos trying to scare you from the lava below, but as long as you're patient as you platform from one swinging platform to the next, you'll safely reach the ledge that holds the boss door. Pause for a moment. If you haven't played this game before or just don't remember, then try and guess what you think the boss is. Even comment if you want. I think it'd be hilarious seeing the responses. But anyways, remember, this is a forest-themed world. The desert world had a stronger version of the Poke, and the tropical world had a stronger version of the Spike Bass. So truly, what do you think this world's boss will be? A stronger version of a Piranha Plant perhaps? Maybe a super strong Wiggler? Just look for yourself. Yep, it's a lone Goomba. Just a singular Goomba. Who's Mega? That's right, this guy had a plan, baby! He knew Mario was coming to this castle. He had planned this out from the very beginning. In fact, I have a theory. I think this Goomba is the first Goomba that you kill. That's right! I think that when he got killed, he revived, and he's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try out this plan. I know Mario's going to Castle 4. I'm gonna get a Mega Mushroom. I'm gonna stock up on that crap. I'm gonna go to the very end of the castle. I'm gonna get to the boss room. I'm gonna look him dead in the eyes and say, you're screwed, bucko, and use that Mega Mushroom to clobber the big bad himself. Do jumps work on him? Nope. Gotta do ground pounds if you want any hope of damaging this menace. The only way to avoid him is by entering into one of these holes, which you're all too familiar with thanks to previous levels having them. To even reach this Goomba's head to begin with, you've got to wall jump when he's close by, or hit the switch to spawn platforms on both sides of the arena and use them to get higher up. And I mean, sure, you could fight him this way, but you know what would be better than cowering from this crazy kaiju? Becoming one yourself. Bring a Mega Mushroom and show him up by giving him the stomp of a lifetime. After that epic bout, Mario will shout, and no Peach to find. Which, yeah, makes sense considering Bowser Jr. took Peach to World 3, not World 4, making all the destruction you befell upon this forest completely unnecessary. A shame considering it did a wonderful job at raising the difficulty of the game in a reasonable way, which is impressive considering all the levels it had that could one-shot you, and, you know, that Goomba from before. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time when we visit World 5.